up in the morning, grab my little black book. Yesterday can eat a dick, cause we lost by the hook. Can't win them all, so you never see me get shook. Today's a new day, the bookmaker's getting cooked. When I spot a dirty keg of 4 units getting played, always find the value, I would never be afraid. Scared money don't win, but I'm not going all in unless I see a bet I love, then I put my balls on a bookie's chin. Let it all soak in, doubling my bread, winning money with my friends. If you got the itch and you wanna go big, follow Sharpie bets and you gon' really fucking win. This is not financial advice, it's entertainment. But if I find the right price, believe I'm parlaying it. You can see my spreadsheet, I'm winning, not just saying it. Profit in the green every week, I'm never negative. I can bet an ace or a shitty old picture. Pick the right spots cause I'm the K-pop whisperer. Shut up when I speak until you finally get the picture. I'm the best in the world, tell me you getting richer. Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the air screaming fuck the bookies.
Let's get to the motherfucking monies.
Let's get to the motherfucking monies. Welcome to the best MLB prop show on God's green earth. It's Friday, so you know what that means. We bring the only guy I talk K props with, which happens to be the next best thing to God himself. Spin Doc, my guy, I know baseball's been treating us well, but are you ready for a better day than last Friday?
Oh man, it has been a week for me. Personally, 19-7 this week. So when I saw this card today, I was like, oh my goodness. Honestly, the hardest part of the card today was trying to figure out how to limit it so we don't have like 37 units in play because there's so much to like about this. This is a card with these pitchers and these matchups that doesn't come around very often. I see Roger, who's a huge supporter of both of us there in the chat. What's up, Roger? Is saying the exact same thing. So many aces to choose from, so many options. The real trick is going to be narrowing it down because, man, like when I did my first round of cuts, normally I cut off a 32 pitcher card. I normally cut 15 to 6. I normally cut it in half. I think I cut about 8 off, and I'm like, there's like 20 guys that have value today. So that's going to be the hard part, is to really getting it down to the ones that have the most value.
I mean, I'm ready for a monster day, bro, and I really believe it's going to happen today. As I bet when I say it's to bet, you'll literally look at the whole card every day. Me, I only bet certain guys, and I wait for matchups that say go. And good Lord Almighty, how many of them that we're going to talk about? And we'll have to mention a couple off at the end, just because we have to. I'm looking to bet 5-6 guys over today. Let's talk about the first one on the board, guys, and that's going to be Mackenzie Gore at the Orioles. Opened up 6.5 minus 125 on DraftKings. It's now minus 113. Pitching outs were not available. Earned runs 2.5 minus 145 to the under. Projected lineup is 6 righties, 3 lefties. Let's talk probably not the only over that we're looking at today.
Yeah. Okay. So when I picked Gore going into today, he's a guy that I've backed 3 times this year already, cashed all 3 times. He's a guy that I've actually watched grow up when he was in San Diego. I've actually followed his career pretty extensively. So he's a dude that I want to see succeed. And going in, my thought was obviously on the over, especially when you have an Orioles team striking out 25.4% of the time against all left-handed pitchers. In the projected lineup, you do have 4 guys that are 25.8 or above. And you also have a bunch of guys, because Gore is in the zone a little bit under league average at 48%. You have guys that 6 of these 9 guys have chase contact under league average, and 4 of them chase at league average or above. You also have Gore with a 32.5% road K percentage. So you factor all of that into play, and you might be thinking, Spin, you're going to tell me to hit the over. And no, I am not. I see danger in this play. I honestly do. I see danger and I see risk that on a card this stacked, you don't need to take. So let's start off with the weather. First of all, the weather, it might be a late start. It might pass through. The weather report is a little sketchy right now, but if there's a late start, there's a 74% chance of rain at some point that night. The showers, if they start late, I think that they can get the game in, but there is always that possibility. Now, you go to this lineup with the Orioles. And to be fair, they have not seen this version of Mackenzie Gore this year, but they have some really good history against him. So, for example, Ramon Laureano, no strikeouts in 8 plate appearances. Ced Mullins, no strikeouts in 5. Ryan Mountcastle, no strikeouts in 6. You have a few guys that he's gotten a handful of times, but the guy that he's gotten the most often in this projected lineup is Adley Rutschman, who is their highest contact guy, period. One of the ways that Gore does get guys is his four-seam fastball can be a strikeout pitch against weaker guys against it, but usually it's a setup pitch for the curve or slider or changeup, depending on sliders to lefties, changeup to righties. So I go down this lineup and I'm looking at, for the last 2 years average, the whiff percentage to the curveball. And across this Orioles team, for as much as they're striking out this year, it ain't to the curve. It's not to the curve. So league average for whiffing a curve is about 33.3%, 1/3 of the time. Gore is generating an absolutely gaudy whiff percent of 51.1. And only one guy in this projected lineup has a combined whiff, two. O'Hearn's at 35, but is Mateo down in the 9 hole at 40%. Everybody else, you're talking like Mullins, Rutschman, Henderson, they're all 30% or less. And actually, the first two are 22.5% or less. So with his out pitch, there's just not a lot of whiff in this lineup. Then you go down to the change, which is to righties, his secondary out pitch, which is generating a gaudy 50% whiff rate. I go and I look at this, the projected lineup again, and I see O'Neill's got a good whiff rate against it. Adley's got a good whiff rate against it. Mullins has a good whiff rate against it. O'Hearn has a decent whiff rate against it. Mateo and Laureano are the only two guys that have high gaudy whiff rates against this pitch, and he has gotten them a combined 0 times. So I also look and I see that you can look and you can see Mackenzie Gore, 32.5% strikeout percentage on the road this year. But let's look at his road opponents: the Reds, the Rockies, the Marlins, the Phillies, who chase and who don't make contact when they do chase. I look at this lineup and I see two guys that chase above league average. That's Mountcastle, who he hasn't gotten yet in 6 plate appearances, and Mateo, who does chase, who I do have for 1, possibly 1+. So you add all of that up and you factor the potential weather that could play a factor. I don't know if it will, but that could play a factor. And I don't see 7 here. Now, what I will tell you is, now you might, I would not go betting under on the Orioles right now, because he could go out and he could murk them up. Mackenzie Gore is pitching so well this year. He's one of the league leaders in strikeouts. He's really, really gotten his some of his control stuff and some of his walks under control. His walks are set at a 1.5, pretty well juiced to the over. No outs prop, which makes sense because of the weather. But his hits prop has been at a 4.5. 4 out of his last 5 games, and now coming in to face the Orioles, who have been one of the most anemic offensive teams in Major League Baseball, and especially terrible against lefties, we get a 5.5. Now it's juiced to the under, but it's still a 5.5. There are way too many risk factors here. If this were a day where this was the only game going, say for example, or one of 3 games going, I might try to do something and maybe take them down to a 5.5 and pair them with something. With 3 million options today, you can do better.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. I'm just going to say they've only seen 2 dogs in this time span of since April 24th of 200 plate appearances. One of those dogs was Mackenzie Gore. The other was Skubal. And they have a 41% strikeout rate versus this team. So I can't bet under. I'm not looking to bet under. But at the end of the day, he already talked about the chase. When he faced them back on April 24th, he had 5 of the 9 in his favor that chase. Today, it's the opposite. 5 of the 9 who don't chase in this projected lineup. So if the chase ain't there, I won't be there. I'm not an under better. So let's get to the over. The first over I'm going to have to get in on today, guys. I mean, I don't really care what lineup they get. I don't know why I haven't bet it yet, but I like to wait. I'll pay juice if I have to. It's fucking sale day. Christopher Allen Sale at his old team, the Red Sox, opened up at 7.5 minus 130 on DraftKings. It's now minus 122 on FanDuel. Pitching out 17.5 minus 185 to the over. Earn runs 2.5 minus 140 to the under. Projected lineup is 7 righties and 2 lefties. Now, Sale gets the Red Sox, who over the last 200 plate appearances versus lefties, they're walking league average, only striking out 22.5% of the time with a top 6 ISO. Going back to see who they seen in that time span that I would bet on and did bet on was Skubal, who had 11 and 6.1 innings, yet he did get hit hard. And Raggins, where I fucking pulled him down, didn't need him to. The guy next to me didn't pull him down, and he cashed. He had 8 strikeouts in 5 innings, but once again, he got tagged too. Then they had 4 series versus teams that I won't bet a lefty on. So all in all, these numbers are pretty much what they say. They are hitting lefties, but they're actually striking out at a way higher clip than what they're showing. When they've seen a dog, they are striking out at a 38% clip. Well, good news, guys, with Sale is he's like Raggins and Skubal, guys. They're lefties who pound the fucking zone. So zone contact is something we look at, as well as what Spin Doc put me on last year, guys. And that's when you take pitches versus Sale, good fucking luck. And that metric is zone swing percentage. Now, one thing with Sale, guys, is he's elite at everything he does. So you don't need the metrics to go in and do a whiff. At least I don't. That's the way I look at it, and check the pitch mix, because you could just run the pitch mix and still get there on certain days. And this won't show that it's there. At the end of the day, if you take pitches on this, man, it's this year, last year, next year before, whatever, farther where you want to go. 0-2 to 2-2, he's striking people out in the 40% range. And even on a 3-2 count, he's striking you out 33% of the time. So at the end of the day, guys, zone swing percentage is a bonus. Zone contact is something that I'm going to pay attention to. And we've got 5-4 to the under, that swing in the zone. But yet we have 6-3 that don't make contact in the zone. And when Sale has seen a lineup with 2/3 in his favor, he is 3-0 to the over 7.5, averaging 9.3 strikeouts a game. And funny shit, I do the pitch mix and I come up with 9.75, not too far off that 9.3 a game. So at the end of the day, I have nobody in this projected lineup that could not strike out. I do have Bregman for a half, even though I don't think he is going to strike out today. He has struck out 25% of the time. But at the end of the day, with me having him at a 9.75, this may be a 2-unit bet for me. I'm also looking at the other guy in this. We'll talk about him at the end of the show. But I think Sale goes off, and I so thinks this person on the side. Now, before I let you talk about Sale, I have to talk about a hitting prop. I'm not a hitting prop guy. I'll be the fucking person to tell you that. I'm a baseball guy. I'm a pitching guy. And what I've seen in the last 7 days is Alec Bregman go 3 for 3 off Tarek Skubal, all off of the first pitch. So if you're into betting first pitch shit, just fucking bet this fucker to put it in play to get a hit. You'll probably get some crazy plus money. And take him for a home run, guys. As crazy as that sounds, he took Skubal deep. He took Raggins deep. This dude is... Zone contact is elite. It's up there, top 10% of the league every fucking year. And if he's jumping these guys who pound the zone, at least first time through, they got to adjust. And that's what he's been doing. So let's talk Sale.
Man, up and away is the only way that I can put it. I was trying to come up with a Red Sox lineup that of guys that are currently on the team, unless they make 3 midday trades and can get them over there tonight. And even then, I was trying to come up with a Red Sox lineup where Sale doesn't get 8 against, and I couldn't. That was where I started with Sale. So, for me, I think the only question is, will it be a ladder spot and how high? I've talked about this with 7.5 lines before on my show, and here is that before you go out and just empty the clip, on like 8, 9, 10, 15, 17. Like, be strategic about your ladders. This is a very, very good spot to potentially ladder. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't ladder 9. I'm not saying you shouldn't throw some lunch money on 10, but I do see people sometimes be like, like, well, I'm going to put a unit on everything up as high as I'll go up until like 12. And it's like, one thing to think about is that even against a mismatch of this nature, and a pitcher in this spot, is that like 11, 12, like that's a lot of strikeouts, and everything has to go right and nothing can go wrong. Whereas what I would rather do is I would rather go heavier on the main line and take the lesser strikeouts total, and then just put a little bit on top, understanding that you have so let's just say you put 2 units on the over 7.5. You can probably then go a half unit-ish on the over 8.5 and a little sprinkle on 10 plus. That way, you're still guaranteeing yourself over 1 unit of profit if he hits the 8. Just because literally like one God forbid bad inning, one where he's just not a couple things happen, whatever. Those things can happen, and that's why those big numbers are ones that you want to go lighter on. I always advise in this situation, and this is really my advice on sale, more so than should you play it, because, I mean, for fuck's sake, of course you should. And of course you should play the over. My advice is more, if you want to do that, and let's just say you decided I want to invest 3 units total on this man tonight, which I wouldn't blame you if you do, rather than go like 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit, you actually might be costing yourself money. Go like 2 units or 2+ units on the main line, and then sprinkle on the other ones. That's how I would play it. But I can't imagine that there's a lineup that the Red Sox could possibly put out that would make 8 not hittable for sale. There's probably not a lineup they could put out that would make 9 not hittable, to be honest with you. I also look at, the only other thing I wanted to mention is aside from Ref Snyder and Bregman, who he's faced 38 total times and gotten 10, the other guys who he's faced, Story, Duran, and Devers, I believe, 9 total times, has struck them out 5 times of those 9, and every single one of them matches up with the swing profile that this man to my left just said, is that you have terrible contact in the zone and either a high swing rate in the zone, or they take too many pitches in the zone and still have a terrible contact rate there. So the over 7.5 is almost academic at this point. It's just a question of how do you want to play them beyond that.
One thing that I am worried about, and I'm starting to think like, fuck my life. Did they even play yesterday?
Did who play yesterday? The Braves?
No, they didn't. The Boston.
Oh, Red Sox?
Yeah.
They didn't.
They're coming off getting scoobbled.
They've had a day to think about it, yeah.
Yeah, no game in between. So a guy comes out and hits 11 for them, and now they got to come out the very next day and see another lefty with the same pitch mix. I might only go a unit.
Yeah, and little things like that are the things that can take you from having like a profitable day to like basically break even, or a really, really good day to just slightly profitable. And usually for me with these bigger numbers, it's when people are like, oh, ladder, 6 units on the main play and 4 units on 9 and 3 units on 10. Like, that is just so many damn strikeouts, and literally nothing across the start at all can go wrong. And if it does, now you're ending up costing yourself money. So I would much rather just pay up more for the main line on this one than to start thinking about crazy ladders up into the double digits.
Yeah. Now, one thing different about Sale than Scooble is their arm angle. I mean, one freaking throws it from fucking submarine style, and the other one does throw it at like a 40-something. But one rule I have had in the past is, fuck, man, when a guy has a career day, you can't back it up. But fuck, how do I let Chris Sale fucking go? I don't know if I can. All right, on to the next guy. On to the next guy. Do me a favor, guys. If you like what you're hearing, smash the like button. And if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button as well. Jack Flaherty at the Blue Jays morning line, 4.5 minus 154 on BetMGM. It's now minus 148 on FanDuel and minus 175 everywhere else. Pitching out 16.5 minus 120 to the under. Earn runs 2.5 at a pick'em. Projected lineup is 5 righties, 4 lefties. Let's talk new Jack.
I never go a Jack Flaherty start without talking about him. So Mr. Flaherty. So the line movement is suspicious from the jump because he is rarely, if ever, at a 4.5. He's certainly never there at home, and has only I actually don't think he's been there at all this year. So first time at 4.5 this year. Now, I do believe that when it comes to strikeouts, is that there are little taxes with going up 1 or down 1 that certain teams get. And that is based on the things that the general betting public uses a lot of when it comes to capping K props. Strikeout percentage is a big one, as is like times hit against them, et cetera, et cetera. And so right now with the 4.5, what I see this a lot. Pitchers that go up into Toronto, I see it happen all the time, is that they get dropped by a K and then they still end up hitting. Shane Baz was one of them just recently. There were 2 or 3 other ones in the series before that. I think that Rasmussen might have been another one, but either way, it happens in Toronto. It happens in Arizona, and then the opposite happens against the Rock in Colorado and in Anaheim and a few other places. So I'm not putting as much stock as I normally would in the line drop. The reason being is because for a pitcher like Flaherty that's only in the zone 45.5% of the time, which is a good amount under league average, is that he needs guys to chase. I've talked about this endlessly with Big Jack, is that he's got a fastball that can make guys make weak contact or get fouls, but it's not overpowering. Only average is 93.5. And yeah, he can sometimes run it up to 94, 95, maybe even a little bit higher, but his four-seamer is not a pitch that is used as a primary out pitch. And so what he does is he'll set them up for his 2 main pitches, which are the slider and the curve. His knuckle curve is pretty gross. Now, what you need if you're facing a guy like Flaherty is you need a lot of chase. Now, with the low strikeout percentage that they have, which is only 19.1% against righties, you might think that the Blue Jays aren't a chase team. Oh, no, they are. In their lineup, there are 3 guys that chase below league average: Vladdy, Springer, and Barger. Now, of those 3, 2 of those of the guys that chase above league average, the only one that makes contact above league average is Vladdy. Vladdy has a really good history against Flaherty. He can almost be considered a dead spot. But then you have Bichette chases way above league average. Santander chases above league average. Kirk, Clement, Lukes, all of them chase above league average. Now, granted, only 3 of the 9 in the lineup make chase contact under league average, that being Barger, Varsho, and Springer in the projected. But when you chase against this man, this is where he can rack up Ks. So the line drop doesn't concern me as much. Now the question becomes, do I want to pay, because assuming that you're if you're not playing on FanDuel, minus 175 or minus 180, I'm not sure that I do. I want to see a final lineup for this one, but I do want to see chase. And guys that I want to see in against this man are, I want to see Springer, I want to see Varsho, I want to see Barger, and I would probably like to see Santander. I wouldn't even mind seeing Clement, even though his contact metrics are really good. He also does chase, and Flaherty has got him in the past. So I want to see what the line does after the lineup comes out, but this is not as easy as it looks. And I'm not sure that I'm going to be on an over here. If I am, what I might look to do is to hitch him to something else, and so I can get some plus money, or because paying like minus 190 something on a straight line prop, especially for a pitcher on the road against a lower strikeout team to begin with, that's just not a smart bet, especially with so many other options. But don't automatically look at this one, and don't look at the line drop. See, I'm the biggest conspiracy theorist out there when it comes to line drops. I'm like, oh, it has to mean something, has to mean something. Most of the time it does, but sometimes it's just the tax that you get for going on the road against a low strikeout, high contact team, which the Blue Jays are. But the question becomes, are there 5 strikeouts across this lineup if this is who they go with? And the answer is unequivocally yes, there is.
Yeah, man, pretty much like you said, the chase is where it goes. And out of 8 games this year, when I look at all the lineups, out of 7 of them being gradable guys, where one of them was a 4-4 split with a kid, he is 6-1, whether it's to the under or over, if you just follow the chase metric, guys. It's been that damn simple with Jack Flaherty. And when we look at this lineup, we've got 2/3 of the lineup that are chasing. That points to the over. When we look at Jack Flaherty this year, when he's faced lineups with 2/3 of the lineups that chased, he then is 2-1 to the over, with that one loss being the Astros. But in his wins, he's averaging 8.5 strikeouts a game. So what we come to, guys, is another thing I like to talk about, and that is mimicking what the pitcher does. Who's the same type of pitcher? We talked about it last week, guys. Aaron Nola throws a fucking knuckle curve. And he just told you that Vladdy wasn't going to strike out, right? Well, Vladdy ain't struck out to Aaron Nola either, okay? That's just not going to happen today. Might be a little singles or to hit bet. Throw that shit out there. He's probably getting on base. Now, Springer has struck out 6-3 to Nola and dies to this man, as well as Varsho struck out half of his 12 at-bats to Nola. If I bet Flaherty today, it'll be 5.5 plus money. I'm at a book where they're gonna juice me the fuck to gills. I'll probably go a half unit on it because it is what it is till it ain't. But the chase has said take him over, and I'll have to do it if this is the lineup we get.
Yeah, my best advice right now at the moment on Flaherty is you might not play him over, but don't be seduced by the line drop and some of the contact metrics and strikeout metrics that Toronto has for the under, because we both said it. When you chase against this man, you run the risk of striking out.
Hey, and out of the 3 guys who don't chase, like you said, is Springer, and this guy's going down. So now
And
we
Springer,
really got 7. We really got 7.
And Springer struck out 6 out of 15 times against him, and Springer's chase contact is 36.5%. That is one of the worst numbers that I've seen. That's actually one of the worst numbers I've ran on any hitter across any of the hitter by hitter charts today. And I've done about 8.
So everything with me and with him, bro, is always lineup dependable. I'll tweet out my action like I always do on show days, but there's not really too much they're going to do. I can't say yes or no right away, but if they give me minus 150, I'll split unit bet it more on the minus 150, but I'll take it down to a 125 risk, put some on the next one up, because I don't want to pay minus 150 and be wrong on Jack Flaherty at the end of the day.
And the other thing, the thing I'll close with Flaherty is, I know that like sometimes I like to say that I use umpires as a tiebreaker sometimes once lineups come out. The only time for me that umpires really come into play is if it is a team that takes, and then that's when the strike zone comes into play, or if the pitcher likes to work kind of like dance around the zone. Flaherty doesn't do that. His knuckle curve and his slider often sail way out of the zone, and it's designed to get guys to chase. There are guys that have breaking balls that are designed to look like either like a cutter or like a version of a fastball, and they're trying to paint the corners. That's when an umpire can come into play if you have a team that takes. In this game, it honestly makes almost no difference to me who the umpire is, because Toronto swings so much. It's the same thing as when I'm looking at a prop against the Rangers. The Rangers swing so often that the umpire makes no difference.
Another guy next up on the board is Cole Ragans versus the Cardinals. He opened up 6.5 minus 118 on FanDuel. He's now minus 144. Pitching out 17.5 minus 145 to the over. Earned runs 1.5 minus 125 to the under. Projected lineup is 6 righties and 3 lefties. Now, Ragans gets the Cardinals, who over their last 200 plate appearances versus lefties, they're walking tops in the league, only striking out 22.5% of the time with a middle of the pack ISO. Well, when I go look back and see who they seen that I bet on or did bet on is Sanchez and Luzardo, who both did the damn thing. Luzardo went 7 innings with 6 strikeouts, where Sanchez went 6 innings and had 8. Then the Nationals, where Mackenzie Gore went 6.2 innings, gave up 4 runs, yet had 7 punchouts, and then a rain-shortened game with Abbott where it said under, and he wasn't going to get 5. So all in all, guys, when they've seen the dogs, they all went 6+ innings and all went over on their K-props. Well, we have a guy in Ragans, guys, who pounds the zone and is elite in every metric. So zone contact is key that I have paid attention to. But I have found a fucking gem. And I've seen it in the metrics cross that I do with all the lineups on the same page, guys. And fuck me running, can we get a Cardinals team who takes? As we talked about it with Chris Sale, when Chris Sale got people to 0-2 to 2-2, he was striking people out in the 40% range. Well, Ragans is in the fucking 60% range right now if he's 0-2 to 2-2 and still striking people out 33% on a full count. So I run this lineup, guys, this projected lineup for zone contact, zone swing percentage, and we have 6 of the 9 projected who are league average or better at taking pitches, with 5 of the 9 that are league average or better at zone contact. So when we look at all the lineup at Ragans has seen, guys, it's only been 3 times this year that 2/3 of the lineups that took pitches. And it happens to be with lineups with zone contact being 5-4 to the under, like today in one of them, and 5-4 to the over in the other 2. All in all, they reverse the Twins, Guardians, and Brewers. 2 of those teams are some tough son of a bitches to get, being the Guardians and Brewers. Yet, in 3 of those games, he had nothing less than 10, guys. As crazy as it sounds, I may have to just plug my fucking nose, not watch the game, and take this motherfucker up to some plus money, guys. Because I believe if he hits the 7, he hits the 8. And if you give me this amount of team that takes, with Contreras who doesn't take and is going to strike out to this man, this is over or nothing for a spot that at first I didn't think I was going to want to get in. But then the zone swing percentage was like, boing, oing, 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 oing. You could walk best in the league versus a guy who pounds the fucking zone. You're going to be down 0-2, 1-2 real quick. And he's putting people away in the 60 percentile. Like, I've never seen this shit. Granted, it's 8 games in, but I got to listen to what's happening. And he's done this shit to the Brewers and to the Guardians, both who said no on the zone contact. Yet the zone swing percentage is where I believe he ate him. I think that's the gem we need to take advantage. And if I'm right, you'll see me on it today if this is the lineup we get.
Can't add a whole lot more to that other than I have a rule, just like I have no under island with teams. I also have no under island with pitchers in spots. Tarek Skubal at home is one, and Cole Ragans at home would be another. Is that the only way to do this here is to play the over or to just pass or to just pass on it. As you said, that was what I was looking at too, was the zone swing percentage for this Cardinals team. And you have guys that are so league average for zone swing is 66.4% for hitters. And really anything 64 or under is really considered like lower. So you have Arenado at 64.6. You have Donovan at 63.2. You have Lars Nootbaar at fucking 54.5%.
Lefty on lefty too.
What's
I'll
that?
take that. Lefty on lefty too. He's striked out
4.5%. Like, if you're going to do that against this guy, you are going to put yourself in a terrible, terrible spot. The other thing is, you also look at first pitch swing among this lineup, because Sharpie talked about what Ragans does when he gets on a pitcher's count like 1 and 2 or 0 and 2. He's striking guys out almost 40% when he gets 0-1. And for a guy that pounds the zone, when I look across this lineup, MLB average for first pitch swing percentage is 31.6%. That's the average for MLB. So you go across this lineup and you look at, you got Pegas at 25.9, you got Nootbaar at 20, you got Brendan Donovan at 19.8, and you got a bunch of guys that are slightly under league average as well. And Arenado's under league average, Jordan Walker's under league average. The only guys that swing a ton on the first pitch, regardless of its location, are Wilson Contreras, whose zone contact is very average, and Ivan Herrera, who I don't even think is going to be in the lineup today. So, if you're going to go down 0-1 against this guy, he's just too good. He's just too good. And the numbers say that virtually every hitter in this lineup, sans maybe two, are not going to swing at the first pitch. For a guy that pounds the zone, that means you're putting all those hitters in potentially in an 0-1 hole, and that is where Reagan's is absolutely lethal.
Yeah. I found this out 2 weeks ago when I was doing the cross lineups of the freaking zone swing percentage, but I was just waiting. And then when I looked at the splits, I was like, oh, it matches. The 60% if he gets to 2 strikes, holy shit.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And so that's actually like something that I think that like people can take away too, is that against some pitchers that are zone pounders and strike throwers like that, it's not even necessarily so much the zone contact that matters as much as the zone take rate. Because you got to remember, if you put yourself in a 1-2 or an 0-2 hole, then the playbook is wide open. Think about it like a football analogy is like you have second down and inches, right? Second down and inches at midfield. The playbook is wide open. They don't know what's coming. You could just run for the first down. You could run some kind of trick shit. You could go deep. The whole playbook is wide open. That's what happens with a pitcher when you get a guy down 0-2 or 1-2 in a count, is that they don't know what to expect. There's a whole bunch of different things that could be coming at him. Whereas if you get a guy, a 2-2 count is more dependent on what the situation is. If there's a guy on base, if they're threatening to score, whatever the case might be. And a 3-2 count is a much more situational dependent where the guy, okay, yeah, he could throw me a breaking ball, but like he's got to throw me a strike. Like he almost has to throw me a strike. On 0-2, you could see fucking anything. And the one thing that I've noticed about Reagan's is that he's not afraid to just pound the zone again on 0-2. And he usually does it with the changeup, which is just absolutely lethal. It's lethal. So Reagan's is not a guy, because you see a lot of pitchers, a lot of non-big strikeout pitchers who will get hitters in 1-2 and 0-2 counts, and then will throw something like I'll be honest, Flaherty does this. Throw something way out of the zone to try to get you to chase and swing. Reagan's, he gets you down 0-2. You could just see 98 down the gut and just fine. You know, he has no problem doing that. And that's the danger in when you get down in a count against a guy like that. Scooble's another good example, is that he has no problem just blowing it by you at 100 right down the middle when you're down 0-2. So yeah, zone take rate against strike throwers like that, way more important to me than zone contact.
All right, let's get to the next guy on the board. Do me a favor, guys. If you like what you're hearing, smash the like button. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button as well. Corbin Burnes versus the Rockies. Morning line 6.5 minus 128 on FanDuel. It's now minus 118. Pitching out 17.5 minus 200 to the over. Earned runs 1.5 minus 155 to the over. Projected lineup is 5 lefties and 4 righties. Burnes gets his shot at the Rockies, and there's been a few times this year where I feel like I gotta bet this spot just because it's the Rockies, and it's not a guy I've been betting on. That's not what I do. Now, not gonna say I don't make $5, $10 stupid fucking parlays and put not Corbin Burnes. I had fucking with Patrick Corbin on that one. That was fucking $5 paid 181 the other day. When I talked to you, I was like, bro, I said, I'm just gonna fucking put it on something, dude. I was like, this bullshit. But we have a guy who does bet Corbin Burnes and does fade the Rockies, so he'll give you all the information. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. Go ahead, Spin.
Yep. All right. So Corbin Burns, oh, how the mighty have fallen. He's not the same pitcher that he was from a strikeout perspective. He's averaging under 5 strikeouts a game for the first time in a long time. But he gets the Rockies and he gets the Rockies tax. So up 1 from his normal line of 5.5. That this was expected. I came into this one knowing that the line would be 6.5, or assuming that it would be 6.5. There's no way they can set this man at home against a team like the Rockies at 5.5. You could even juice it at -200 and you'd still be overweight on the over. So you have to put it at 6.5 at about equal juice on both sides. So this was the expected line. Now, breaking down Corbin Burns is that his strikeout percentage has been a little better at home than it has been on the road this year. But what I look for with Corbin Burns is because he spends a bunch of time, like a ton of time, outside of the zone. 46.1%. That's almost 3 full percentage points under league average. So with Corbin Burns, what we're looking for is we're looking for guys that chase, and we're looking for guys that don't make contact when they do. And lo and behold, we found it. We found both because of this Rockies lineup, which, as Sharpie said, 4 and 5, 4 lefties, 5 righties, there are 2 guys that chase below league average. McMahon, who he struck out 5 out of 11 times, and Martini, who he's only faced once and has struck out. So not a big enough sample size. Of the guys that do chase, so Doyle and Beck are a little bit above average. Toglia and Amador are at league average. Moniak and Trejo and Goodman are way above league average. If you chase against this guy, you have a bunch of opportunities to strike out. It gets better too, because of those guys that do chase, you also have 6 of 9 guys that are making contact under league average when they do. The only guys that are above league average when they chase are the bottom projected 3 in the lineup with Martini, Amador, and Trejo. Now, with a guy like Trejo, is that, yes, he makes contact slightly above league average, but then I look at Burns's out pitches, which for both sides of the plate is a curve, and for lefties, it's a changeup, and for righties, it is his slider. Now, you go down this lineup, and over the last 2 years combined, and good Lord, are there some horrific whiff percentages. We know the Rockies strike out. We know that. But let's look at the curve. Beck, 60%, 60%. And that's not on a few. This is on like all of these are like over 100 pitches. McMahon, 50%. Toglia, 57.5. Trejo, 50. Goodman, 45. Then against a changeup or a slider, you have over half the lineup, which is at 40% or more. I talked about how league average for whiff for these are between 33 and 35. So most of these guys are nearly double or 1.5 times more than league average. The other thing about Burns is that Burns does not throw a 4-seam fastball. He's one of the few regular starting pitchers that goes with almost exclusively with a cutter. His cutter doesn't have the same luster that it has in previous years. His velo has been up and down. It's been better. It's been just fine in his mostly over his last few starts. But I look at league whiff average to a cutter is about 22.5%. And you have Beck, McMahon, Doyle, and Amador. All of those are at 24.5% or above, including Beck and McMahon, who are over almost 30. So you look across this lineup and you look at which guys can be even close to potential spots where you're like, he's probably not going to get him. I come up with Martini only. Martini is the only guy where across the board, because he doesn't chase, he makes contact when he does, he doesn't whiff that much to a changeup or to a curve, hits the cutter well, low strikeout percentage. He's the only one. Every single other one of these guys is gettable, even for a Corbin Burns that is not the Corbin Burns of what that we've seen. Nearly all of these guys chase, and none of them make contact when they do. When you're facing Corbin Burns, who's in the zone that low of a percentage of time, and when you have that much chase available, to me, I mean, the Rockies are already on my no under island, so it's over or nothing. But I'm coming up with 8. I come up with 8 in most ways that I run it. I'm just going to wait until the lineup just to make sure that it's this one. The guys that I for sure want in are Beck, Goodman, Toglia, and probably McMahon. Beck, Toglia, Goodman, and McMahon. If those 4 guys are in, this is it's to me. It's not going to matter what else they put around them. I'm coming up with 7 for sure, but 8 in most cases.
Oh man, I get it. I get it. I get it. The last one though, it's probably a no-brainer to a lot of people, but yet the line is moving the other way. Dustin May versus the Angels. Morning line 5.5 minus 110 on FanDuel. It's now plus 110. Pitching out 17.5 minus 145. Earn runs 2.5 at a pick'em. Projected lineup is that can't be right. It's probably 6 righties, 3 lefties. That's more right.
Yeah, it is.
I put it backwards.
Yeah.
I was like, they don't have that many lefties over there. All right, guys. We end the day. Well, kind of end of the day with sale, guys. It's sale and May Day on the same fucking day. And that's been really good to me this year. And if we look at how the Angels have been over the last 15 days, we know it's nothing to write home about. As we all talked over and over how the Angels metrics is right there with the Rockies. And that metrics that I care about with this man is zone contact. And would you believe that May has only had 1 of his 7 games this year versus a lineup that had 2/3 of it bad at zone contact? That was the first game of the year where he went 5 innings with 6 strikeouts. Even the Colorado game was 5-4 in his favor, but it wasn't 2/3. Excuse me. Either which way, guys, we look at the Angels, 5th worst team overall in that metric. So let's just go run that lineup. And when we run that lineup, we do have 2/3 of the lineup that favors him to the over. This will be the first time since opening fucking day that this man will see a 2/3 of the lineup, at least if this is what we get, where it points to the over. Now, I did run the with mix versus this guy's his pitch mix. He's pretty much, they say he's a fucking sinker baller. He's fucking not a sinker baller. He has a 2-seamer that runs like 18 inches sideways and goes down. And because of the fact that it has downward movement, they call it a fucking sinker. Whatever. Sinker, 2-seamer. He says it's a 2-seamer. It runs like a fucking 2-seamer. And sweeper, guys. And he'll throw an occasional 4-seam fastball to the right. I think it's righties or lefties. He's only one way or the other with it. So at the end of the day, it's hard to take in his 2-seamer because they list it as a sinker. But if we just look at the sweeper alone, if we just look at what this team does to that, and me going through the people with bad zone contact, I come up with 7 on a bad day. Now, I do have 2 dead spots, and that is in the second and third hole of this lineup, being Chenal and Ward. And I'll probably go a half unit if this is the lineup we get on the 5.5 at plus money or whatever the fuck it is for me at 5.5. But then again, I'm also going into it knowing that 2 of the top 3 guys are going to be pretty much I don't think he gets. So if he doesn't get Neto the first time and goes through a quick inning, they're going to give me a 4.5 minus 150. And I'm going to throw $150 fucking dollars on that 5. And because the floodgates open as soon as Ward it goes to the bench or wherever. It is fucking free takings pretty much all the way down to Renfigo. There's a chance we don't get them with one of their young kids they've been playing every few days. So lineups pending. I will be on Dustin May. But like I said, it's going to be a half unit to start and then a live bet to get in. If I miss out, if he gets Chenal or Ward, then I'll fucking kick my feet up and take my 5.5 to the bank. You know, so what? I didn't get to go full bore. But this has worked more often for me than not. It's worked with me with Wheeler. It's worked with me with these guys when it shows like, hey, you're not going to get 2 of the 3. Let's just get a better fucking number. And you know what? More often the times I do when I chase them, I fucking lose. So is what it is. It's gonna be May Day. It's gonna be fucking I don't know. I keep telling myself rules red light keeps flashing me on sale. Crochet though, oh my gosh, the more and more I look at him.
Yep.
Holy crap. But before we get into all the extra talking, do you got anything extra on Dustin May?
No, that's your guy, man. Other than, like you said, Shaniel Ward are the only two that are of any concern at all. The rest of them, there are multiple guys in this lineup, especially towards the bottom. Especially if you get like Adele and Paris that have multiple strikeout potential that can easily make up for dead spots. That's just one thing that I always look for in when I do see multiple dead spots in a lineup. Is so like with the Giants, for example, like if I see like Jung Ho Lee in there, who's a dead spot. Stephen Kwan is another one for Arya Arise is another one. Guys like that. Are there guys in the lineup if I want over that are gettable 2+ times? Not just like, oh, like, well, easily. He'll easily start with her because getting a guy twice doesn't happen as often as you think. But when it's like when there's guys that are like, okay, yeah, that can easily be a gettable guy. What my usual rule is, 2 guys that can be 1+ cancels out a dead spot. And so I have if you have Adele in Paris, that cancels out a dead spot, and then Ohapi and one other guy that cancels out the other dead spot. So that to me is very, this number is very easily reachable.
He's on this side. Dustin May. I'm super strict on Dustin May because he's not a big strikeout guy. It's rare that I'll give him more than one.
Yep.
But like he can literally get guys, like you said, multiple times. Like Mancada, Ohapi, Soler can all go down multiple times. It's very doable. Like I said, I'm gonna take the 5.5 to start as long as it's the lineup we get, and then I'll get in live again. Another guy that I'm looking at, guys, as we talked a little bit about him earlier, is Garrett Crochet. It's something I've picked up on with the Braves guys this year, is they're the only team that I look at for last year's metrics still. I learned it with Abbott, and then I bet it with Lodolo since, and then it happened again with Dustin May, guys. When this year's metrics say no, if you combine them with this year to last year, they're going fucking over with these Braves, guys. They're the same old fucking Braves. Don't let this shit fool you. And when we look at fucking Crochet this year, he's only faced 2 lineups like he's about to fucking get. A lineup bad in zone contact. And he's had 9 and 11 in those 2 games. I run this pitch mix, which is pretty simple, guys. He fucking gonna pound 3 different fucking fastballs at your dumbass. And I come up with 10.25. This may be one of those spots, like I said, this is before I figured out Scooble just crushed them, and now I'm afraid. I was going to just load up on both sides, single bet them, and bet the over 20.5 strikeouts in the game combined. That takes 9 innings, takes with the freaking bullpens. But, yeah, it's Crochet day to the fucking moon for me today. That might be my 2-unit bet, bro. Like, I know he's super juiced out. I'll probably throw $100 on the -160 and then bet the next one up another. So I expect big day from this man. And another thing we didn't mention before you get to Crochet is, how does Sale not hit? He gets the living shit kicked out of him is the way he doesn't hit. It's been happening more often than not this year. And Scooble and Raggins both just gave up 4+ runs. So that's the only way I see Sale not hitting it. Not saying he doesn't. But we talked about how does he doesn't hit it. I think that's the only way, is he gets tagged so bad they take him out the fucking game. Other than that, this fucker should have 8 in his sleep.
Yep. And his earned runs are at the 2.5 they've been at with juiced on the under. So you got 2.5, -150, -155. That's where it's been 3 of his last 4 starts. The only one that it was not was against the absolute poverty bullshit that Pittsburgh put out there when it was at 1.5. And in the games where he's been lined at 2.5, of those 3, he has gone over. He's allowed more than 2 runs, 0. So he's 3 for 3 in under the 2.5 runs. Hits for Sale, it's up from 4.5 to 5.5, but it's juiced to the under. And when he's been at 5.5, he's only been at 5.5 one time. That was out in Arizona on April 25th, and he gave up 5 hits. But he's given up 5 hits, 5+ hits in each of his last 4 starts. Pittsburgh did get 8 hits off of him, but they also struck out 8 times.
Hey, Chris Sale is one of them guys who's going to throw 92 to 94 until a runner's on second or third. And he's going to turn it up to 96 to 98. That's just what he does. He's realized to keep himself healthy. But anything on Crochet?
I mean, no. I mean, there's 8+ strikeouts in this lineup and then some.
Bro, I
sure.
think it opened last night at like minus 130. And I woke up this morning and I was like, minus 170? The fuck?
Somebody
Guess they know what I know. Damn.
hammering. Yep.
Bro, all you got to do is pound the zone. Look, I mean, look at Abbott and Lodolo are zone contact guys. Nowhere near Crochet's level of pitching. And they both had 7.
Yep.
Now you get the dog.
And Braves league average for zone contact over the last 2 weeks, 86.9. Braves as a team are 86.1, but they also it's very top and bottom heavy. The guys that are under are like way under.
Yeah. It's gonna be a big day for me. You got anybody else you want to talk about today?
No, I mean, man, there's no. Well, you want to talk about Taj?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna. You go ahead before
No,
I do.
no. Go ahead. He's your guy.
Nah, he's our guy. We all bet him, but it's definitely a guy I'm looking at today. Guys, I've already done all the work on him. Now, something I'm worried about: his zone contact, his zone contact, is the worst of his career, guys, and his spin on his slider is up 300 RPMs, which is not a good thing, as the whiff is down drastically on that pitch to show that it's up. Yet, who was the last guy who throws fastball, cutter, splitter, curve? Zach Wheeler. Well, at least he throws that to lefties. Taj throws it to both. Now, I did run this pitch mix versus the zone contact and the chase of this projected lineup, and I come up with 7 and 2 guys that are question marks. So even if the 2 guys don't strike out, I still got 7, with 5 of the 9 able to go down multiple times. So as always, guys, I will tweet out my action once the lineups come out. But Friday, May the 16th, otherwise known as Sale May Day, it's going to be a big day for your boy.
Oh, yes. Lots. There are just so many options to choose from. That would be my only advice is that unless you have, unless you're like betting like $5 a play, or which is fine, or unless you're have an unlimited bankroll, which most of us don't, is that you're probably not going to be able to play everything that you like today. So, just don't go crazy and yeah, just
are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
Don't go completely nuts. And, I always look at it as like I always tell people on big days like this is that the worst thing that you can have is FOMO. Because when you have FOMO and then you see a play you didn't take hitting, then your first instinct is to be like, okay, what's on the late slate that I like the most? Oh, well, I got to get in on this, and then you compound it. So, figure out what you like the best. Figure out what of the stuff that we're talking about that makes the most sense. Put your money there and be content with it. Would be my advice.
I'm gonna tweet out everything I bet. As always on these show days, guys, pray for me, pray for us. It's been a great month, but it doesn't fucking matter. We're 0-0 today, and it could be a miserable day. But we listened to the fucking book. Yesterday, the book didn't speak for me. Today, the book is talking. So, as always, bro, it's freaking great talking freaking baseball with you. Let them know what you got going on, where they can find you. Yeah,
at Spin Doc Sports, and I just sent it out yesterday. There's the link is on there for the VIP if you want to get in on that. We're 19-7 over the last week. May, June, July are typically the heaviest months and the most profitable. I have baselines now for the model that I use, and we're starting the rocket. The rocket's starting to launch to the moon. There's still seats left. We're still selling seats, so get in for that. And the Spin Zone, which is the strikeout prop show that I do when I'm not on with this man, and basically most other days of the week at 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning. Hopefully we will be doing it, popping champagne corks and celebrating. Last but not least, I don't know if he's watching. I know he's upstairs, but shout out to my son, graduates high school tonight. He's graduating with honors. It's a proud dad moment for me tonight. So that is that is where I will be. So congrats, Tony. And yeah, it'll be a really fun night.
Well, guys, as always, tune into my Twitter account. Let's have us a day. And let's withdraw again. Let's withdraw twice in the same week, huh? Can we do that?